So how many flags of various countries, states, or political subdivisions do we want to allow? 3, 5, 7, unlimited, or other option?
I frankly don't want to be the person that limits somebody putting up the American flag. However, I do want to be the person that limits somebody putting up a huge flag that says Rick's Insurance Place, buy here. So I understand your point about content, but I'm going to draw the line at Old Glory, I guess, and suggest that we do limit commercial flags, but we don't limit the American and the state flag. And maybe I can't do that. Maybe I've got to say political subdivision flag.
Well, what happens if somebody wants to put the American flag, the state of Georgia flag, and the Canadian flag? Say he's from Canada. Say he's from New England. I make a flying British flag with the American flag.
Well, in residential,
it doesn't pertain to residential.
We're talking about commercial.
Well, what if they wanted to fly American flag, a state flag, and their business flag?
I'm all for that. The problem is if we limit it to 3, I was telling Bob earlier today as we were trying to discuss this, or as we were discussing, the week after September 11th, and I don't know if it was in regards to that or not, but I drove by Darton College and they had an incredibly beautiful display of maybe 100 American flags.
That's right.
And, you know, they're not a commercial business, but I'm assuming they're in a commercial zone. I don't think any of this board wants to limit anybody displaying their patriotism. And so I guess I'm asking our professional staff and our legal staff to, like I say, I don't, you know, for an example, the commercial flag is the Wendy's flag on US 19. I mean, it's on the same flagpole as the United States flag. The United States flag is wonderful. The Wendy's flag is not, in my personal taste, it does not offend me whatsoever. But it's a big old sign, and it's just like a ground sign in reality. So, you know, they don't have 4 of them. They got 1 of them. I'm totally okay. I'm not saying that I'm against it, but I'm saying that I wouldn't want a business to have 4 of those big Wendy signs. But
the way to do that, I think, is you leave everything just like it was presented, except that on page 14 in sub E at the top in blue, if you're talking about not regulated the U.S. flags, or state flags, whatever, in that blank, the words would be no regulation of.
okay.
No regulation.
So
But if we leave it like it is, then Wendy's theoretically could have 3 Wendy's flags.
that is correct.
That's right.
I guess that's the risk we maybe have to take.
I don't think they
So how many flags can they have?
Well, if it's a commercial flag, then it's if you get a commercial district, it's 3, whatever kind of flag it is. But if you're, you can in a residential, those are not limited. And if you adopt subparagraph E with no regulation, then none of that applies to the American flag, the Georgia flag, or flag representing other countries or political subdivisions.
So if we can do that, we could also change 4A to only 1 flag permitted per lot, and adopt E and put in the blank, no limitation of flags, and that would allow somebody to fly a state flag, Old Glory, and a commercial flag. Theoretically, right?
That's correct.
Yes,
Well, the reason that we came up with 3 was because one of the business people that came to us had 3 commercial flags, dive shop flags. So it would then require that he removes 2 of his flags, and he could replace them with any governmental flag he chooses. But that's why we put 3.
Or if they want to fly a religious flag?
And that would not be allowed unless it was one of his 3, the way we're talking about.
And you know, I'm not against any, you know, like I say, I'm a small businessman, I'm a merchant. But if in that particular dive shop is a strip mall type or a strip shopping center location, and I want to say there's 4 businesses on his little block, that put 12 flags in there.
Right.
And I think that'd be, I think that would go against what we're attempting to do.
If there's 4 individual businesses, you couldn't restrict it just, say, 3 to 4 entities, could you? Says you have a strip mall, 4 businesses.
That could be 12 flags,
Times three, yeah.
Yeah. 12 flags.
plus 162 state flags. That would be 12 commercial.
I believe it's per property lot.
Wouldn't that be
Per lot,
grandfathered?
yes, it's per lot.
Wouldn't his dive shop like to be grandfathered?
They would be, but another dive shop or another similar business, like a car dealership that has flags with their logo on it, would be restricted in a similar manner. A lot of businesses use flags for commercial speech. And I agree that allowing too many could create chaos. But that's part of the reason that the number was proposed at 3, because it does allow.
But that 3 had the American flag and the state flag in mind.
It did.
If we're not limiting that, if we go with E, then we're not limiting that.
Bob, doesn't the Toyota place have flags
Yes.
consistently on the lot? They have flags every day of the year. Where do we stand with that?
They would be grandfathered.
Have you granddaddy doing okay? I just want to be sure, that's all, because local officer said, so we'll replace it.
On number 4A, I'd make a motion that we change that to 1 flag. And on 4E, I'd make a motion that we change that shall not be regulated, or whatever.
There should be no regulation.
No
There would
regulation.
be no regulation on country and state flags.
I second that motion.
All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, takes care of that. Thank you all.
I have one question here.
Yes, sir.
I got a question here about the rotating flag, or sign like you said the barber shop could have.
Right.
If we had, I reckon my question is it legal to say we let the barber shop have a rotating flag? And I think about the Shawnee big board, isn't that thing? I mean, if a business come and that was one of their things, and it was a rotating sign, or is it legal that we tell them they can't have a rotating sign? You're allowing the barber shop to have it, how can you tell Miss Betty she can't have a rotating sign in her business?
Would they have the opportunity to ask for variance?
No, not the way the ordinance is written. The variance has to be based on hardship, not just that they don't want to comply. I'm not a lawyer, but
But there is an amendment process. I mean,
the ordinance could be amended to allow a specific
Right.
business to have a million flags or something else that's prohibited. If it's a business that Lee County wants, the ordinance can be amended to allow them to have a sign available.
Now, you tripped me up when you said that somebody couldn't ask for a variance.
Variances are given for particular situations that don't involve the actions of the applicant. So, just in the case of zoning or subdivision regulations, it can't be something that a problem the owner brought upon themselves. It's a difficulty with the specific shape of the property or something like that. In this case, if a variance could be given just because the applicant doesn't want to comply with the ordinance, it would undermine the whole ordinance, whereas they can come before you and say, I want a variance because I don't want to comply. And in reality, that's what they'd be saying. So there's standards set forth for why variances can be requested and given. And so that if they're following that standard, they can request a variance. But in general, I don't see any reason that if someone came in with a sign that's prohibited and they asked for a variance, that wouldn't be the way to go about it. The way to go about it would be to change the ordinance.
The specific example or scenario that I set up was, I think that there's a church out on 32 that's near the corner of 32 and Palmyra that has a lighted sign. I think it's lighted. I'm thinking, I don't know for a fact, that that's either R1 or ag. And as such, that lighted sign that they were building today would not be allowed. Now, I understand and I comply with the limitations of lighted signs in residential areas. But there's a difference in residential areas. There's some residential areas that are highly dense, that even the most muted lighted sign would make a problem. And then there's residential areas like 32 that have 2 and 5 and bigger acre tracts where a lighted sign is not the nuisance that it could be.
Well, I think you gave an example of a situation that the owner didn't create. The owner didn't create the fact that their lot, they have a lighted sign already, they have it in a rural residential area. They didn't create that. So if they wanted to rebuild and build a newer church with a newer sign, that would be more of an appropriate reason to give a variance than if a business came in and you need to be able to distinguish between a situation like that where they are in a rural area or if they go into a neighborhood. So it is up to the specifics of the case, but a commercial business that simply wants a sign that is prohibited, I can't think of a way that example there would be a way to give a variance. A variance based on the situation of the surroundings, sure, but a prohibited sign, I can't see.
Any more questions?
So Sean is down, we want to put the fatty board back up there, we couldn't let it.
I recommend changing the ordinance at that point.
We have a few more things to do to finish the ordinance.
With respect to the other changes that have been proposed since the first reading, they're in blue. They don't appear to be, they're not terribly complicated or controversial. I would think that it would be appropriate, if y'all agree with all those other changes, to have a motion to approve those amendments presented to you. And then if that motion is adopted, then you would have a motion to approve the sign ordinance as amended here tonight. That sounds complicated, but some of these things were not in addition to the temporary sign and the flag sign, some of these things were not in the ordinance you first read last time, so we got to figure out a way to get them in. And the way to get them in is to move to amend, to add those, approve that, then vote on the thing as amended.
So I need a motion to approve the amendments
Approve the amendments
I'll
in
make
blue.
a motion.
in blue.
We need to include the barber pole thing too.
Need
It's not in blue, it was completely amended.
There are 2 changes that I mentioned that were not in there. There was the removal of the gas station signs and the change from multiple message signs to 20 to 30, and the barber shop poles being prohibited, or allowed, not prohibited.
Why don't we take
Okay.
those, Mr. Chairman, I know he's saying to do for record keeping, since those are not in there in blue, let's take those one at a time so we can get it right.
Okay.
And so let's go,
First of all, you want to approve the amendments in blue?
yeah, let's approve the amendments in blue
I
first.
need a motion to approve the amendments in blue.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Now, the next amendment is in, where is it, Paul? It's on page 13.
Page 13 is
So paragraph K, it's been proposed that K be deleted, which would mean that gas station price signs would be subject to the multiple message sign rules of the rest of the ordinance.
So moved.
I want someone to second Mr. Skipper's motion.
I did make a motion. Thank you.
I made it. So
So
moved.
moved.
As-
Give me a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Now, then you move to J, right above that. And because you've got a limited number of multiple message signs authorized in the county, since if you're gonna add gas stations to that list, the suggestion is to change amend 20 to 30 in J.
So we need a motion to amend
Change
J from 20 to 30.